Hello everyone, this is the Green Team and right now you're watching our presentation titled Sustainable Students. My name is Carolyn and today I will be joined by my team members, Melinda and Kisa. Please enjoy the video and hopefully by the end of it, you'll have learned a little bit more about sustainability. Before you proceed with this presentation, please make sure that you've completed the pre-video questionnaire. Just in case you haven't, I've included the link to it down below, but hopefully you should have received this forms from your teacher before the presentation even started. 3 students at your local middle school are planning to do some good for our planet. The presentation you are watching right now is part of our capstone project to teach students about sustainability, hence the title, Sustainable Students. Sustainability is all about being kind to the planet. So today we'll give you a guide on how to do things the eco-friendly way. Join us as we take you on a trip to appreciate our lovely planet Earth.
Hi, my name is Kisa, and I have a quick question for you guys. What is it that you love about this planet? For me, loving nature is expressing gratitude for whatever you have. It is about being content with the world around you even though it might not seem like much at first. There are more than 1 billion people starving in the world. Many more are suffering due to issues like strife within their homes and families. In order for us to share the happiness in our hearts, we must be able to realize the worth of those around us. Do you see the beauty in those tiny raindrops that glitter and glimmer on petals like stars in the sky? We're incredibly lucky to see such sights. Soon, those plants will be nothing more.
Have you all heard of deforestation, habitat loss, climate change? There are countless issues in the world caused by humans. It's a sad thing that so many precious people and animals unfortunately find themselves tangled in this ugly mess. The International Animal Rescue Society found baby orangutans abandoned in a cardboard box on a chilly autumn day. One of them was suffering from severe skin infections. All of the people thought he was destined to die that day. Due to the strength of his soul, he prevailed to see another day. Nowadays, both the baby orangutans, Jito and Asifa, are recovering. This is just one story of numerous. Every hour, 300 football fields worth of rainforests are cut down just for palm oil. 27,000 trees are cut down each day just so we can have toilet paper. According to NASA, the world's rainforests will be all gone by 2100 if the current rate of destruction continues. Even if things like logging are illegal, in some parts of the world people still do it. This leads to millions of tales just like our dear friends Jito and Asifa, some even more tragic than theirs.
Thomas Fuller is someone you could call a tree hugger. Fuller has said that he that loves plants and trees loves others besides himself. This quote truly resonates with the point that this presentation is trying to get across today. Basically, a healthy earth requires humans to be more considerate and less selfish about their consumption of resources. Being sustainable and consuming sustainably will protect our planet.
Before you guys watch this video, I want all of you guys to picture what the future might look like. While you watch this video, think. Question: what will be the cost of this future? What can we do as humans of this planet to minimize the cost? Do you think the benefits outweigh the cost? And I want you guys to predict, what will the environment look like during those years? And then your teacher will play the video. Once you've watched this video, I want you guys to take some time to discuss with your partner your thoughts and ideas.
In 2015, many important people from across the globe traveled to the United Nations headquarters in New York City to represent the interests of their individual countries and territories. Their ideas came together in the form of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, abbreviated to the SDGs, which plan to achieve peace, prosperity, unity, and equality for all. One specific Sustainable Development Goal is SDG 12, the responsible consumption and production of resources. As one of the more environmentally oriented goals, SDG 12 represents the plants in the ground and the nature all around. It works towards a trash-free, pollution-free, wild, and beautiful Earth for us all. After all, without the natural resources that every living being depends on, the planet would be both uninhabitable and gloomy. During the past century, people have been mass consuming many, many natural resources. This consumption increases every year, but people don't even realize that they are negatively impacting their surroundings. As technology develops, resources have become more accessible and affordable for those in developing countries such as ours, which only contributes to more waste. That's why it's important, now more than ever, that we combine our efforts in the form of responsible consumption and production to protect our one and only home, the lovely planet Earth. As the previous slide has just established, waste is very harmful to our planet. But what makes waste so detrimental to the health of the environment? To explain the negative consequences of too much waste, I'm going to give you guys a serious fact and then elaborate on what this means for the future of humanity. Hopefully, this will help you guys realize just how much of a doozy humanity could be getting itself into right now. Did you know that by 2050, almost 3 planets worth of resources will be necessary to sustain human life? The human population is only growing, while our resource supply continues to shrink, particularly for non-renewable resources. As of now, it is looking skeptical as to whether or not the Earth can continue to sustain our current consumption habits, especially if that consumption only escalates in the future. Thus, it is doubly important for both Mother Nature and humanity that we consume responsibly so we can prevent waste from accumulating in every crevice of our lives. If it does become too late, the many resources we currently take for granted, like fuel and water, will become scarce. Growing more of these resources isn't always simple or quick either. Did you know that it takes millions of years for the land to produce petroleum? Right now, we are using a petroleum, or gas as you might more commonly know it, so fast that the Earth cannot keep up with our consumption rates. There won't be long until we completely run out of it. Using up excess resources also leads to waste, and waste pollutes the land, the water, and the air. This has a very negative domino effect on many habitats and animals, and it will eventually circle back to humanity, just as karma does. Disposing of waste isn't easy either. It can take up to 500 years to decompose certain plastics. Meanwhile, our landfills are filling up and up and up. Who would like to live on top of a dumpster? Many of us could be, even if we don't realize it yet.
The global population is on the rise, and so are the amount of resources used every single day. Think back on what kind of resources you've used today. Do you remember how many gallons of water your family used up when they showered? Do you remember how many pounds of food went into your stomach?
So now, let's stop and think. I'll give you a few questions to chew on, such as, how many Americans go to sleep on an empty stomach each night? How much waste do you think Americans generate each year? Write down your answers on a sheet of paper or turn and talk with your neighbor. Do you have your answers now? Perfect. Let's do a quick rundown. To answer the first question, 37 million Americans, 11 million of which are children, are suffering from food insecurity. That means they do not have a reliable source of food. Many of you might already be wondering what you're going to have for lunch today, but unfortunately, many students across America do not have that privilege. This is why it is extra important to be mindful of the food you eat every day, and to try not to waste any of your food either. Unfortunately though, more than 80% of Americans throw away perfectly good food due to the misinterpretation of the food label. That waste stacks up, not only in landfills, but also in terms of money. The United States Department of Agriculture estimates that Americans waste more than $161 billion of food each year. In 18 years, a family of 4 can expect to waste a year's worth of tuition at an elite college. For all of you middle schoolers, you already know that college is a pretty big deal. Our wasteful actions also have environmental repercussions. The World Wildlife Federation records that the production of wasted food in the United States is equivalent to the greenhouse gas emissions of 37 million cars. To restate, the energy required to make food that ends up in trash cans anyway is more harmful to the planet than that of 37 million cars. Just for reference, the US doesn't even produce 37 million cars in a year.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys some world facts, and before I tell you them, think, how many resources do you think we use each year? How much waste do you think we generate as a planet? How many resources do we have? So, human consumption of Earth's natural resources have more than tripled between 1970 and 2015. In 2010, 73.2 billion tons of materials were extracted in 1 year alone. By 2017, the number of resources consumed in 1 year increased by 12.7 billion tons, and this number will continue to increase unless change occurs. So, how much water do we have on this planet? Well, turns out only 0.5% of all water on Earth is accessible for people to drink. The rest is either salty, polluted, or frozen. And think, people constantly pollute our natural resources even though we have only so much, and it takes so long for them to regenerate. So, According to the United Nations, 1/3 of all food produced, approximately 1.3 billion tons worth of food, which is worth around $1 trillion, ends up spoiled. So, well, that's a lot of food being wasted. Think about the poor people who don't have enough to eat in places like Africa. What could they have done with this food? These facts matter because this is our planet and no one else will care for it if we neglect it. Already, people in impoverished regions struggle to scavenge the bare minimum of resources such as water to survive. The children with threadbare clothes and bony arms will only multiply as time passes if the people keep on using resources at the current rate. The Earth only has so much resources, and people are already recklessly wasting them. The damage done to the planet is everyone's responsibility to uphold. You may say that you are a child, so it's alright to do whatever you want. However, think about it. You guys are the future generation who will be running the planet. By then, you cannot act like you do now because the future generations will rely on you. Why not start early? Why not build good habits from an early age? Did you know that Native Americans always think in terms of 7 generations? They always make sure the 7 generations after them will always have what they have and enjoy.
Now that you know a little bit more about how our irresponsible consumption is impacting our planet, I think we should go over the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. One way that we can actively curb our irresponsible consumption is to reuse all the products we utilize on a daily basis. Luckily, there are many items that can be reused, such as paper products and plastic products. Even better, I suggest buying 100% reusable products, such as metal straws, shopping tote bags, and metal water bottles. By reusing, we are preventing more waste from ending up in landfills, or even worse, in our oceans. This turtle is a sad sight which is unfortunately fairly common in the world's oceans. This is a good warning that all of the trash we carelessly toss away might just end up clogging the oceans and choking the life out of these poor, undeserving aquatic creatures. In fact, if current patterns continue, we will have emptied the world's oceans of seafood by 2050, according to the World Counts organization. Imagine never eating sushi ever again. Instead of simply recycling and going about our days, we should try to reduce our waste in the first place. Better yet, we should consume more responsibly. We can do this by simply taking shorter showers or drinking from reusable bottles, for instance. By doing this, you are essentially saving another turtle from being strangled by our own plastics, no less. Speaking of plastic, on this slide we have included an insightful video about the life cycle of a plastic bottle. Hopefully this will help you understand more about where our plastic even originates from, and hopefully this will also aid you in your understanding of trying to reduce your plastic consumption and waste.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. We've all probably heard of this from elementary school. Why is it important that even adults and people like us should learn about it? Well, it takes so many resources to create just a simple thing. Like, think about it, the process to make clothes or to make any item, it needs a lot of resources, time, money, etc. So, I mean, wouldn't it be a waste if after you use it, you just threw it away? What if, like, you took a glass bottle and you recycled it and then it could be used again and again? Wouldn't that be better? I mean, a lot of people don't recycle. Let's face it, people can be lazy at times, but it's really important that people do recycle, because when people don't recycle, the waste can sit in landfills and it's not being put to good use. A little goes a long way. I mean, if you do a little good, it'll affect the entire planet in some way. So, things to recycle: plastic, battery, glass, used oil, household hazardous waste, and tires. These are only a few things. Yeah. Keep in mind that these things, even if it's like plastic, that doesn't mean it can be recycled. You have to look at the label and the ingredients inside. You should probably wash it before you recycle. So be careful with recycling to make it much easier for the people.
Let's go through some paper facts now. 1. Paper makes up 23% of solid waste, more than that of any other material. 2. According to the History of Paper website, recycling 1 ton of paper saves 17 trees. Also, the paper industry is the 4th largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions in the United States. During an average American's lifetime, she or he inadvertently cuts down 465 trees. I bet you guys don't even plant 465 trees in your lifetimes. And approximately 73% of every landfill is composed of paper and cardboard boxes. That's a pretty large percentage, especially considering how vast landfills are. And finally, businesses in the US alone use enough paper products to encircle the Earth 3 times. These statistics prove why we should turn eco-friendly by switching to our online resources. Instead of using up 3 or 4 notebooks each year and then setting them aside half-used, type all of your notes on your device. That way, your notes will be easily organized, neat, and permanent. Plus, doesn't it feel great to save some trees? And besides, you can always start small by replacing technology with other alternatives. And then once you're a pro, you can maybe even convince your friends, family, and your teachers to save more paper. Do you ever think about those huge stacks of paper your teacher prints out just in case a student forgets his or her copy of work? Don't you feel just a little bit guilty? Well, luckily the school already permits the usage of technology for education, especially after the pandemic. So use that information to your advantage. On this slide, we have included an insightful and informative video on paper's effect on the environment. Hopefully, this will put more of our paper consumption into perspective. For the purposes of this recording, unfortunately, I cannot show this video to you in live time. However, I highly encourage you to go check it out on YouTube, which is why I've included the link below. So take this time right now to pause this video and go watch this one on paper. Hi, hopefully you just came back from watching this video. Here's just something I want you to think about. The numbers you saw in this video were only from 2009, the time when the video was made. Since then, paper production has increased by 50 million metric tons. Just picture the environmental repercussions for that.
Do y'all know her? Well, of course you do. She's been all across the news at some point in time. Greta Thunberg. Who doesn't know her? We might not all be able to rally 10 million people like the amazing climate activist Greta did, but we are able to make a change in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our society. Even though we're children, we still can make a change. How? Well, how do we make a change? Well, we can clean up after ourselves, we can teach others to do the same, and if we practice it all throughout our lives, the amount of resources we can save is a lot. A little adds up, and it becomes something large.
These are just some environmentally conscious and friendly organizations that we support. Click on any of the links to learn more about these amazing organizations. My personal favorites are the Greenpeace Foundation and the Rainforest Alliance. Now that you know a little bit more about sustainability, please click on the link below to play a fun game of Kahoot and test all that you've learned.
Okay, I'm excited. This is just to show we're a credible source, and don't forget, this is just the beginning. You should keep on learning about environmental facts, so then you will have more and more reasons to act for the benefit of our planet.